Hello YouTubers, greetings from Southern Colorado. It's January 28th, 2025, and you're watching Mad Adventures. It's kind of cold here in Colorado today. There's some snow and ice on the ground still, so we're not riding. We're in the shop today, and we have a new bike build. I have purchased a 2024 Aprilia Taureg 660, and you can see I've already started to outfit it. I've added the Moscow Moto rackless luggage system. I've got a center stand, pegs from All Rider. I've got a skid plate, lower crash bars, upper crash bars, bark busters, and the double take mirrors. So the bark busters, the crash bars, the skid plate, and the center stand were all purchased from Taureg Racing. And I'm really impressed with their gear. It's sturdy, it's rugged. I didn't have to modify any parts to make them fit my bike or do anything extraordinary to make these little projects work so far. So I'm really impressed with Taureg Racing. Now, you might remember my little brother Mark, my younger brother Mark, you know, thing. He has also purchased a 2024 Aprilia Taureg 660. His has got a little bit different color pattern, but basically the same bike. And what we're doing in the garage today is we're going to be installing his center stand. So let's just get into it. All right, well, let's start off with tools that you need. Good headlamp, that'll come in handy. You'll be up underneath the bike quite a bit of the time, so you know, you can see by my video my garage isn't very well lit, so this was really handy. You'll need a lightsaber, a good razor knife to open up that package, and a lot of patience. You'll need a 12mm wrench, box end wrench. You'll need two 17mm wrenches. You could get by with a crescent wrench, but I found that I had two 17mm, so they were handy. And it's also really handy if one of them is ratcheting. You'll need a 1/4-inch drive set with an 8mm socket. You'll need a 5mm hex head wrench and a 4mm hex wrench. You could get by with a driver set if you have that, but I found that the wrenches themselves are easy. Magnet for picking up nuts and bolts, especially if you weren't smart enough to take the stock skid plate off the bike first. And some, believe it or not, that's blue Loctite in there. I know it's time to get a new bottle of Loctite, but all right. First step in any motorcycle project like this is open yourself a beer. Okay, did I mention it's cold here in Colorado? I got the heater going on in the garage, and I'm kind of bundled up, and we're on to our second step. The second step is we have to remove this cover. Sorry about the lighting here. We got 4 bolts. We're going to use 4 bolts using a 4mm Allen key. We'll remove that cover.
Alright, we're on very tight. Notice that about the Taureg projects I've done on my Taureg. I'm really using a torque wrench when they've assembled the bikes that much. It seems like some of these are just way too loose, so I think it would behoove me to go through and...
Yeah, they package it really well, I tell you. You know, lightsaber. All right. And did I mention that Taureg has a 10% discount for veterans? Yeah, go to their webpage and find their link to scan your DD-214 to them, and after they approve it, in my case it took them like 3 or 4 hours because I did it after hours, but or a day because I did it after hours in the evening. But yeah, the 10%. You know, you figure between center stand, skid plate, upper crash bars, lower crash bars, the brush guards, and all that. That's you know, $1,100, $1,200. So that $110 to $120 that you save, you could take your wife out to Applebee's or Chili's or a nicer restaurant like that and Might make explain to her that you spent $1,000 on horse cycle parts a little bit easier. Okay, so T-Rex does have a pretty good installation video for the Taureg for this project, and that's what I used to help me get mine together. But I think they could have done a few things to make it a little bit easier, and one of them just kind of showing how these all work together, where they mount on the bike. So the reason we had to remove these two plastic fairing pieces is, I don't know if you can see back in there, there's a little mounting hole, and Aprilia has given us see right there, see a hole? Aprilia has given us a little flange off of their frame for these to sit in. So this is the upper hole for this side, fits down into here, this top bolt, and you can see, I don't know if you can see in there, that's threaded. So the 10mm bolts that they send with the project or the package, there's no nuts for them. They just thread right through these two mounting holes on each side. So I think that would have been easier if I had known that, or I could have seen that, and just to be able to put it in perspective before I started the project. Another thing, I found it easier to just remove these brackets from the center stand, and you can see that right here on this hinge, there's like a shape spacer in there that rotates on. That's like a pivot point for the center stand. So I'm going to remove these. These are just lock nuts, so they're on loose. So I'll take these two brackets off. We'll install through these holes in our brackets, and we'll go on. Never mind the blood on the floor. I had to strike down a Jedi. All right. So this is the hardware that comes with the package. You've got these 4 10mm bolts with washers. Like I said, mounted into these two bracket holes here. You've got these two little bolts. They fit into a side brace. Comes down and sits in just like that. And then you've got your return spring. You also have your instructions, which are garbage. So hopefully following good shop practices. I told you I was going to take these two brackets off of the center stand so that I could install them separate. I could install them first. And I've taken this side off. But I wanted to show you this little washer, this little spin washer, nut, whatever you call that sits in there. It goes a certain way. You notice it has a good little glob of grease on it too. I'm going to put a little bit more grease when we reinstall, but I've reinstalled this with the lock nut and the washer facing the same way that it came off. You see it's got a big flange on this side and a smaller flange on that side, and that's the way it's supposed to be oriented, and I want to keep it straight. Okay, yep, you gotta get that top one right. This is the majority of the problem with this project, where it gets hard. It's getting on the right hand side of this bike, getting that top bracket in there. See if I can do it. Come on, baby, get in there. You can see it, you can't touch it. If you can touch it, you can't see it. Slide through the hole first. Come on, baby, get in there. Come on, baby, just get in there.
Just go home. That's your home.
That's your home. That's your home. All right, success. So that's what it looks like on the right hand side. I think I can get this going from here. Put a little Loctite on there before I tighten it down. All right, we're reassembling this swivel portion right in here, and I'm applying a little more grease. It comes greased. It's the good waterproof grease. I like to put plenty on this because it doesn't interfere with anything. It just keeps the water and grit out. And as I said before, this is directional, so this comes in just like I have it on this other side. If you can see that, just on this side, The big flange is going to go like this through the All right, we're back on the driver's side of the bike again. Put a little bit of grease on that swivel right there. Gonna go through like so. And I've left everything loose so that I can move everything around. You see how it's completely loose here, but just a little bit loose. I'm just trying to get it all started up, and we'll come down and we'll anchor it in. Torque everything down. All right, how about this axle piece, centerpiece, cross member. We'll call it a cross member. Sorry about that. Go ahead and put a little Loctite on this one, because we're about just a few minutes away from pretty much getting everything set. Just leaving it loose still, just for now. We really are just a few minutes away from putting Loctite on everything, getting everything tightened down where it's supposed to be. We won't be Loctiting these. These come with their own lock nuts, and you want that to be able to move and swivel on that hinge. Okay, for the project, like I described earlier in the video, you're going to need two 17mm wrenches, and one of mine is ratcheting, and that's going to come in real handy because we're right up here. We've got a little bit of Loctite on that bolt, and I'm getting ready to torque it down. Now, I think the torque setting for that bolt is 35 foot-pounds. Here's the thing. You're not getting a torque wrench in there. And I don't think you're even going to be able to accurately get the torque setting with the claws foot on your torque wrench. So, it's a big bolt. It's 10mm bolt. You can wrench on that bolt. I'm just going to tighten it down, give it the old German torque setting, good and tight. All right, so this lower bracket bolt here, not going to torque it down, and I'll tell you why. It's actually a mounting point for the skid plate. So tomorrow or the next day, I'll come in with a skid plate. In the back end of it, I'll have to take this bolt out. So there's no point in tightening down. I will snug it down so that I can get the rest of it set the way it's supposed to be set. And it's actually on both sides where they use the lower pivot bolt or the lower bracket bolt for the skid plate. And this is where that second 17mm wrench comes in handy. You've got this nylon nut on this side, and you're going to want to hold it and tighten it down. You could get away with a crescent wrench there. I had two 17mm wrenches, so. And this one does not, in my opinion, need to be super tight. It's got that nylon lock nut, so it's not going anywhere. Just want to snug it down, making sure not to over tighten it so that you don't crush that washer that's in here. All right, last step, setting the return spring and then adjusting the spring tension, how much force it needs to go down. I found with the other bike, that the first project I did, that you don't leave it too tight, you can't get the bike on center stand. It resists it it not only brings it back up, but it also resists how much force you can use to set the bike down on the center stand. I hope that makes sense. And it's kind of a weird configuration because they actually send two springs. I watched their install video, T-Rex's install video, and it has both of them. It has you putting them both on together, kind of like that. I'll show you where I'm going. There's a little notch. It sits right on that little knob right there. Okay, so what you want to do is you set the top part on that little knob right there for it to rest, that little perch. See, I've taken the adjustment nut all the way out of this, I don't know what you would call that thing, taking it all the way apart. And it's easier once you get it on that perch up there to thread this adjustment nut in. Yeah, there we go. Wrench. Put just enough tension on it right now to keep it there so it doesn't want to stray, fall off, and we'll start adjusting it. Alright, starting the process of adjusting our spring tension. See where we're at here. Yeah, see, it's not. There we go. You know what? That went pretty quick. Always put your kickstand up, taking the bike off the center stand. Learned that the hard way. So let's say just a little bit more tension. Okay, I think that'll just about do it for the center stand. I'm happy with it.